Love speaks to me through actions, through just being there physically and emotionally, honestly. So yeah, that's how love speaks to me. No, I used to, not anymore. Because I know that my time here is, I'm only here to do what God wants me to do, and then he's gonna be like, oh, it's time to go. So no, I do not. I was 8 years old. So it's interesting you ask, because when she passed away, it didn't really hit me. Like 2 days prior to her passing away, like I was on the phone with her, and you can tell she barely recognized. She didn't know she was calling me by another sibling's name. And so I knew she knew who she was talking to, but because she was so sick, I felt like she just couldn't understand at the moment or just process everything. And so like 2 days after that, I find out she died, and I didn't say anything. I didn't know how to feel. I didn't know how to think. And then it wasn't until maybe a month later, I was still with my sister, and I was kind of like, wow, I'm really not gonna see my mom again. And I bawled, and that's when it hit. And I felt like my world changed completely. It would have been completely different had she been here. So, well, once my mom passed, I ended up moving in with my sister. She was left in, I was left in her care. So it's not that I wanted to leave, but one day living with my sister was really hard. She went through a bunch of abusive relationships, and we had to experience that. And so we got to a point where we were moving from house to house, and we landed at one house where it wasn't the place to be. Men would come in as they pleased, and our front door was always unlocked. And so it was 4 little girls and my sister. So one day she went to work, and we were home. We came home from school, and I can remember my nieces leaving the room saying that they were gonna go downstairs, but didn't lock the door behind them. And so when they walked out, I can't remember how many minutes after that, but all I can remember is a guy walked in, asked me for a pair of socks, and I told him I didn't have a pair of socks. And that was the day that I was raped. And I remember crying and thinking, at this point, I really don't want to live. I don't want to be here. And so I didn't tell her, because I replayed the scenarios in my head, and I felt like had I told her, we were gonna get kicked out of the house. And I didn't want to put my nieces through that. And so, we barely had any place to go anyways. So I waited up until she got her own place. And one night I was up, and now at this point I'm having nightmares. I'm reliving the scene all over again every night. Waking up crying. I woke up one night and I went and told her, and she hugged me, and she asked me if I was okay for the moment. And I told her I was. The next day, it didn't take long. The next day, she came back, and she started beating me with the phone charger, and she basically told me that I was lying, and that the guy said that I was coming on him. Mind you guys, I was 13 years old. And so it was really hard. Our relationship went downhill. Now at that point, she's cussing me from A to Z. She could look at me the same, and everything was just different. And so that's when she ended up kicking me out her house. So after she kicked me out, I ended up, so she kind of made a threat prior to that incident. And so I felt like she was just mad. She didn't know what to do. So I kind of brushed it off. But I knew at some point she was going to tell me to leave. And so I ended up reaching out to one of my cousins, and I was kind of I think she's gonna kick me out. So if she does, can I stay with you? And when she did, I ended up using someone's, like a neighbor's phone, and calling my cousin to come pick me up, and she did. And so that was where I was for the time being. This is hard. My best friend, he died. That one's hard. That one's hard because I always said, like, I didn't know how to feel if I lost, like, a close friend. And so to lose him was really hard. He ended up getting shot by random people, honestly. He was out hanging out with some friends, and it's crazy because it's all on camera, and like sometimes I like get triggered and have to re-see the scene all over again. So yes. I find the courage to win by feeling. I don't force myself to act like everything's okay, because I know I'm not at the moment. So I do that by feeling, I do that by praying, I do that by talking about it, and I do that by writing. And so writing has been one of the best coping mechanism for me my entire life. And I write letters to God through that, and so that's how I've been able to win, and by sharing my experiences too. So yeah. I hope to spread love to others by being vulnerable, by having sympathy and empathy, because there's a difference, and just by being me, because there's a lot of people out there who don't have someone with that has an ear for them. And so if I can be that person, I will be, regardless of how hard it is. Because I can talk to somebody who's dealing with something and I'm dealing with something, but they will never know because I'm helping them.